Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, this is a spur of the moment kind of deal. I didn't get to put it out anywhere, but also I got horrible noise around my neighborhood. They're cutting trees down everywhere. I've been cutting trees on my property, but now they're cutting all the trees on the borderline of the property. Uh, I hope you got the topic today. It's about God. Now, the problem. Let me try one thing to get this noise quiet. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Hope it helped a little. They, they're cutting everything down. All right. Now, I know everybody has a religion or a path, spiritual path, or some have none. But if you do you believe in God? Do you have a God? What is your truth about a God? Well, beginning of time, they worshipped what? Animals. Then they worshipped deities. Then they worshipped aliens. All right. Uh, all these famous spiritual beings that came into our reality, trying to teach us things. I'm going to say this, and this is the truth, people. All right. First off, let's use that word love. Love didn't exist before 2020 years ago, roughly. All right. It didn't exist in Egyptian time, Mayan time. Atlantis was the only time it was real, people. All right. I'm going to get into this. Now, I'm going to tell you everything I'm telling you now, I believe and know is total truth to me. And it could be yours if you search hard enough and look for it. I don't lie. I don't give stories out. I don't make up stories to make people, and I don't charge money for this either. So I'm going to start real simple. You came from a religion, most likely Catholic, Protestant, or Jewish religion, programmed by your mother and father, and they taught you about the idea of a God. And what's that idea of a God? Basically, the one that watches over you, protects you, and forgives you for things you do. How they ever come up with that is delusional. All right. Now, Buddha himself didn't believe in God. The deities that came tried to convince people they were God. Shiva, Durga, Kali, all those kind of deities. Uh, the word God didn't exist anyway, but anything with superpowers today is called a God. But they were idolized, worshipped, and every other thing, and forced to believe in them. Shiva was great for destroying things as well as creating. So now, when we go back that far, it was Hinduism was the first religion on the planet, first concept of God, multiple gods, I should say. I mean, there was hundreds of deities. So when we talk about God, and in your reality, you could be worshiping a deity, you could be worshiping an angel, you could be worshiping a lot of different things as your God. You could be trying to pray to an alien, hoping that they're going to come and help you and all that kind of stuff as well. All right, I just saw my computer black out for a couple of seconds. It never did it on this computer before. Don't ask me why it's doing it now. All right, now I was going to say, oh, I'm in AOL, and I should have went to a different browser. But here's the thing: when we talk about God, it pulls up all our memories of what we know and believe of God. And what are they? Think about it. I suggest people get out a paper and pencil and write down what they think and what they think they know, and really trying to debate if it's real or not in their reality. You can believe God's a lot of things, but is it true to you? And does it really help? Oh, I was in an accident. I prayed to God. I came out of it. Well, I was in an accident the other day and my son died. Where is God or your God in that situation? Very few people know the words that Buddha brought out that are important, karma. And he did talk about reincarnation. That's as far as he went. He never went past the astral plane because he would have decided he had to meet God or understand God to get further down the road. But he talked about the bliss state and things like that. And now we got all these new age speakers religionists and people that claim all these things have zero clue to a real God. If we go into one at a time, we'd be here forever. There's over 2,000 religions. But there's two basic ones that take a big percentage of the population: Christianity and Muslims. Christianity is 2.5 billion. Muslims is 2.2, 2.3 now billion. So when every other religion starts breaking down less and less and less. An important religion called Ekankar is probably one of the lowest on the totem pole. And then you got like Sufism, all right, which was an important path. And then you could go through a lot of other ones that weren't half as important because they didn't talk about a real God. And they never explained how to get there, find it, or understand it. They want you to believe in Christianity. It wasn't what Jesus was teaching either. We can go to Confucius and all these other names. What did Gandhi preach? Trying to be real and all that. He died. Most of the people died trying to teach things, including Jesus, killed. All right, most of them were killed. Some were poisoned, didn't die, and died later. So where are we going with a teacher and a master? Are two words that you use when you follow a religion or a path. Well, I could say this. I study with many. Each has a little bit to offer you. But don't ever give yourself completely over to something, ever. Because then you lose who you are, and you're going to lose most of the truth that you could be getting. All right. Everybody has a level of experience that they go through. Their understanding of God, their understanding of why they're here, which very few people do have a clue. And now most people don't believe in God. I'm in Hawaii, and believe it or not, they don't watch TV. They're not up on news. But most of them don't follow a religion, really. And then the ones that do, recently I had a friend, sworn Christian, listened to music all day long, prayed and all that, did her own classes. And she turned against me because she'd rather follow a person that drinks, does drugs, and is a liar. All right, people that can't see who they're dealing with are very limited, because if you follow any teacher and you can't find out the truth about him, reading about him is not the truth. What you know about him by his family, by what he does and how he acts and all those kind of things, you can determine who and what he is. The other thing is, I'm not going to get into it today, but reading a person's aura will give you a clear view of who and what they are. Nobody on this planet can cover their aura up. We are soul, all right? Inside this body is us as a soul, and we use this body to get around. But soul has a radiation of light. That's what it is and what level it's at. Red, green, purple, orange, black, brown, blue, yellow, and gold are the most important ones to see. Then the next thing, how far does that radiate from your body? It's how close you are to God. Seriously. Very few people have a clue what God is, and they follow a man-made idea. Moses never really God, did he? He talked about God. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I'm going to get into this if you want to listen and learn and understand everything I'm going to try to do today. God is real, people, to start off. There is only one God. Under that, God created many things, including humans. But there's deities, which I call little gods, and they all take on different realms. Then you got angels, and you got impostures, creatures, entities claiming to be God. All right? But the truth is, there is one, only one. It didn't come here from the Big Bang. It didn't come here from all the stories science is trying to prove and trying to say. It's all lies, people. I know a famous scientist about 6-7 months ago, old scientist, came out and said, anything beyond our aura, on our or around our planet is a lie. All right, meaning it's just what they believe to be true. Taking pictures of things can't prove what it is. All right, and now they got lasers going out into deep space, and they just found two other universes. But so what? What does that really mean? Greetings, everybody coming on. If you have an important question, stick it in there, or I can bring you on if you want. But here's the thing, people. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I don't drink, smoke, and do drugs. I mean, I'm on pain medicine, which isn't helping me at all. But here's the thing, people. You need to find the truth for yourself, not somebody else's. All these New Age people, the top, I got my papers here. Let me just dig this out. The top 5 spiritual people, I don't need the paper for that. Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, the Dalai Lama, the Pope. Even Oprah's put on a spiritual hierarchy right now. They have no clue to God. They never talk about a real God. All right? All they talk about is the now and living in a moment. That's cool if you want to live in the moment. But that doesn't help you find who you are, what spiritual even means. All right, I'm hardcore, so if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But, people listen, I love you and everything's beautiful, and they'll listen for hours. But if I say, it's a lie, I'm believing this guy doesn't know. Look, this is the truth, and I promise you from my heart, the only person I'm responsible back to is God itself. Not my mother, father, people, friends, family. I don't have any left too much anyway. But the idea is you need to find the truth of God, not aliens, not demons, not beings, not creatures, or any of those other words. All right. Now, there's many ways to go about doing that. But first you have to decide, what is your life about? Why are you here? And if you could understand that, then you can move forward. But if you don't even know why you're here, what good's finding God? Oh, I found God, now what? If you don't know why you would be looking for God in the first place, I mean, Christianity wants God to protect them and forgive them. It's all about man's ego. Man created God. Moses created his idea of a God. All right. To protect themselves from what? Zero. And prove it. I can prove it in any level of life that we have, that God's not protecting you here on planet Earth. Aliens do exist. I didn't meet one. I saw one. I was really close to one. But again, I deal with a person on my show who's been abducted half of her life. I've been involved with that since I was 6 years old as well. I started my spiritual quest when I was 6. All right. As well, being pulled into the UFO world. Not that I wanted to. All right. Now, aliens will be here real shortly. They're already coming over Hawaii all the time. People are denying it, but lots of people are admitting it. We had a ship over us last week. 500 people called the police department. And it wasn't a balloon because it was traveling across the sky. And they filmed it. Multiple people filmed it. All right. Balloons are one thing. Even the original thing with Roswell, they tried to call that a balloon after they said it was an alien ship crash. I'm not going to get into that part of it because it has very little to do with God. God's the only thing that's really important. Because if you understand God, then you understand yourself as soul. What it becomes, what it can do, and what it does when it leaves this world. There's many worlds. God created many realms to go through. And each level makes you different, and you become different, but you become more enlightened. All right? And I mean, you become more of the light. Now, here, you got a body. Damaged, hurt, beat up, drugs, anything can happen to it. On the astral world, your body can't be destroyed, that your astral body. You can throw energy at people and things like that, but you can't kill people. And then beyond that, you don't get beyond that until you let go of all the things that keep you attached to this realm and everything in it. All right? I'll get into that in a little while, but let's stick with this. Now, you're here for a reason. Every soul comes here for a reason. But guess what, people? There's only one reason. Well, I got to find my mission, my reason, my mission, my reason, my mission. No, there's not multiple missions. You're not here to save the world. Nobody is. Einstein did a number on the planet. Tesla gave us deadly weapons. Nobody's here to make us better as a spiritual person. We have never created anything spiritual in 100,000 years. And that should really make you think how serious and bad people are. Now, after Atlantis was destroyed, we were programmed to kill, sacrifice, torture, and all those kind of things. We never moved forward from there. Why not? Because we are programmed by our parents, our friends, our family. School doesn't teach you anything about spiritualism, truth. And my brother was a scientist, and he went to a Catholic school for science, and he became a scientist. But they teach about the lies of God and all that. There is none, but nobody knows the truth either. All right, God is eternal. God wasn't created. God doesn't have a male, a female, a body. It doesn't talk like we do. It doesn't look like we do in any way or any level or any size. So to think that it sits there and looks at us and watches us is really ridiculous. To think that it's going to protect you when a car's coming and going to crash into your car, or all those things. It's not that. That's not what God is. But now, Egyptians worshiped alien gods. Hinduism worshiped deities. Deities were sexual beings. And you could read anything about Shiva, Durga, and all the sex. Everything was about sex. All right? Kama Sutra, and they created all these words about sex. Nothing more than that. And I got people talking about the Anunnaki, another false teaching. They did not create us. We are not one race, people. We didn't all come from Africa. We all didn't come from anywhere. We were brought here. You can't say a white person, a black person, a yellow person, a red person came from the same cell. They didn't. Now, to prove everybody's totally wrong, the Hopi people are the only tribe on this planet that has a different DNA than everybody else. So what? They came from Africa? No, they lived underground. I studied with the oldest. I didn't study with him, but I was with him and worked with him a little. Thomas Binyaka, the oldest Hopi elder. He died. I was with him right before he died. And he brought out the Hopi prophecy. 5 people carried the Hopi prophecy. Somebody's carrying it right now, but 2 of the ones after him died. All right, one of them was a white person, lived on a reservation for 25 years, but he died too. But Grandfather David was, I guess, the last one to have it. But the Hopi prophecy is really important. But mankind doesn't realize that or understand it, because in the United States, they don't understand Native people. They're still killing them. I don't want to get into that either, but the truth is there, and I could go into all the facts about that. Now, where do we go? Who do we go to look for the truth? Yourself. And not meditation per se. Meditation's the starting point. Oh, well, do this meditation, you can become your higher self. You become this, you can become rich, you can become famous. That has nothing to do with spirituality. Money, fame, cars, houses, boats, and all that stuff have nothing to do with spiritual truth. 0. Children have nothing to do with spiritual truth. 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 lions, tigers, all can have babies and whatever. Does that make them spiritual? Does it take 2 spiritual people that have sex? No. And that's a problem. Because most people that have sex don't want the child when it's born. Well, they're changing now. Most people don't want them. But even now, they're going to ban the abortion pill, which is 50% of the people that don't want a child, they get rid of it. It's sad. We have our own rights to do what we want with our body, or we should. We don't have freedom here. We don't have freedom of speech either. So where's God fit into this? It doesn't. All right, here's the worst thing you're going to hear. This is hell. When they talked about hell, going to hell, no, it was getting out of hell. Getting out of this realm, this plane of existence. Oh, the ocean's beautiful. The trees are beautiful. The flowers are beautiful. We eat them, we kill them, we chop them down. We destroy the air. We pollute the water. We kill animals, kill everything. We eat everything. Where's the beauty in all that? Oh, I look at a flower in my yard. It's so pretty. And then what's that get you? All right. When you attain spiritual awareness, There's one word that everybody uses a lot that should not be, and it's called ascension, meaning ascending. Ascending means moving into a higher place, but ascension, you move into a higher spiritual place. Big difference. Nobody goes through ascension, people. Nobody. If you did, you would have 32 psychic abilities. Only 2 people I know had them, Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Moses had some abilities, but his abilities, he killed people. He was the highest black magician on the planet. All right. And that being said, he probably killed more people than anybody else. Oh, everybody says this. No. He killed children. He did a lot of things. When he came up the mountain, he killed 3,000, had 3,000 people killed right then and there. He walked these people around and around until they died and then brought their children to the promised land. When they got to the promised land, they killed everybody that was there. There's nothing spiritual in any of those teachings, words, of what happened. Nothing. Nothing was said about God. People, you read the Bible. I read it 3 times from cover to cover. I studied it I was going to become a preacher. I was going to church 6 days a week, a year and a half, and I was going to sign a paper to become a preacher, and I decided I didn't want to do that. All right. But here's the thing, people. You follow what you believe. And if you don't change what you believe, you're probably going to be following the wrong things. Your mother probably knew nothing about a God, death, reincarnation. Never taught you anything about it. They told you the boogeyman wasn't real, which it is. All right. They could tell you a lot of things. They programmed with you the Easter Bunny was real, Santa Claus was real, Jesus was real, God was real. But then they erase them little by little as you get older. Why feed your children lies? Lying doesn't get you anywhere. Saves your ass when you do something wrong. But truthfully, that's called karma. Whatever you think you get away with, you'll pay. God's not protecting your sorry little ass. Because God doesn't care what you do here. It cares when you decide to leave hell. If God cared about what we did here, do you think there'd be rape and murder, killing, stealing, and all those other words happening? Do you really believe that? Free will. Well, yeah, that's why the angels were cast out. And they were brought down to a lower level. All right. The 5th plane, which is a beautiful place to be when you leave all the lower realms, is where soul's the purest, and it's the end of soul's journey. But as a being of that, you can move on. I'm not going to get into that. It's really complicated until you learn at least how to get out of the body, get into the astral plane, and things like that first. Because they're the first steps you have to take. If you can't understand them, you can't get nowhere. Past lives are helpful to understand the karma that you have. Oh, I got no karma. Oh, yes, you do. You wouldn't be reincarnating back into this world if you didn't have karma. And basically, you have hundreds of lifetimes. Seriously. Think about it. Hundreds and hundreds. If you started when the world was created and you were brought here, or hatched, if you believe that, you reincarnated over and over to now. And you're still here. Why? Why didn't you move on? Why didn't you decide to get out of hell? Why do you insist on being around a world filled with hate, anger, pain, suffering, and all those other words? Because you're programmed. And aliens did that to the human race as well. Egyptians, Mayans, the Aztecs, all work with aliens, given lies. They have no clue about reincarnation, the truth. Follow the hieroglyphics, what they drew of reincarnation, what they did to bodies. All that was not going to help a soul reincarnate, especially back into a body. It doesn't happen. Not into the same body. It would be ridiculous. I mean, we're trying to immortalize a body and freeze it and come back and be able to get back in it and all that. Why? Because they don't know any better. They don't know anything about the higher realms. They don't know anything about God's worlds. All they know is Satan likes to play with people's minds here, giving them anything they want. Satan wants to keep people here so it has people to play with. That's a fact. And it's not Lucifer. Lucifer's a fallen angel, but he's the highest angel. He's an angel of light, and he's on the astral plane on the top of it. He's one of the judges up there. I'll get into that if I have time. Today, maybe. But where do you stand? What do you want to know? What do you want to learn? What are you going to spend your time on? Making money. Becoming famous. Buying a better house. Buying a better car. You know, when you have all those things, what do? I want more money. Why? What can you do with more money when you have everything you want? You could take care of all the homeless people in the United States or another country or whatever. But no, you want more money. For what? To die? You're not taking it with you. To leave it to your family? Why don't you give it to your family while you're alive and watch them do things and help them do things? People are so ignorant at every level. And it's scary. Especially when they think Bush, Trump, anybody is an important being on this planet. They do not care about you as a person. Not one person in politics cares about people. They're all people with an ego, thinking they have the right to tell other people what they have to do and what they can't do. All right, prison is a horrible place, obviously. But when people go to prison, they have more things than low-income poor people do. Sure, there's the bad things that go on in prison, but the bad things going on out here as well. But they get meals every day. They get clean clothes every day. They get to play as well. A lot of starving people and poor people don't get that. Don't have 3 meals a day. People, you know, our system has gone so far out of the deep end. I don't know anybody I talked to in the past 25 years that has a real clue or understanding of a real God. I'm serious. I was talking to somebody, he's 10 years older than me. And I thought he was smart in some levels. And I said, God. And he goes, what? God? What God? And then suddenly I realized he doesn't believe in God. Oh, the Big Bang. Oh, Big Bang and everything was there? Really? And then the idea that we came from 1 cell to a 2 cells, from a neighbor, and all these words up to a cat, a dog, a dragon, a lion, whatever. And then a human, monkey, a dolphin. Really, people? Do you believe that? Dolphins are the only creature on this planet that have a brain the size that we do. Bottlenose dolphin. It's intelligent. A monkey can only learn 50 words. A dolphin can learn 150. A dolphin uses radar and sonar. A monkey doesn't have either. All right? I mean, dolphins have sex and like it and all those kind of things. They're much more human. They nurse their baby, their cubs. Here's the thing, people. Are you looking for truth? Or do you really want to find it? And what will you do if you do? Tell the world, I've been trying, doesn't help. Most people aren't ready for the truth or don't want it. They like the programmed idea that they were given. And what's that? Well, God watches over us and protects us. Well, say that when you're in a car crash and you lose your leg. Say that when you're in a plane and it crashes and you lose half of your body. Or you lose your whole family or something like that. Oh, yeah, God protected us. From what? Your twisted ego? No. We live with that here. That runs us usually into the ground. And then we got to reincarnate all over to find that ego still there and it still runs us back into the ground. People, you're as pretty or as ugly as you think you are. Here, soul is the same. It's a light. It's a light being. It's not good, bad, better, ugly, pretty, or that. It's just what it is. Incredible. All right. When you see a person's aura, and the aura is blue, white, or gold, you know they're coming from a spiritual point. And then when it radiates from the body, the average person, and I say not a lot of people, but some people have it, radiates maybe like a couple inches around their body. In my life, I only saw 3 people that had their aura go out way past them. Only one person, I saw it go across thousands of people, like a blanket, just covering the whole thing. All right, and that person made contact with me when she walked past me. She turns around, looks me in the face, and says, "I love you." Out of all the thousands of people there, that's what she did when she faced me. But I still remember her talk when she was on stage. She was talking about living in the world in balance, or you'll never get out of here. But she said it's like a pendulum when it swings up and down on the high side or the high side on the other side. You're out of balance, but only when it's centered directly down is it in balance. But it doesn't stay there, and it can't. So when we say we're spiritual, in what way? What do we do spiritually? I mean, people believe, or they picked somebody off the ground, or they gave somebody a hot dog. Is that spiritual? It's like feeding a bird for a week and then leaving. That bird's trying to get used to eating there now, and now nobody's coming back to feed him. You know, we do things thinking we're doing such great things. You know, the old saying, so many bad things happen in the name of love. Cheat on your husband, cheat on your wife, they come home and see you. What's it do? What's it do to them? What's it do to the relationship? What's it do to everything? We love pain and suffering. All the shows have more pain and suffering. And then the entertainment comes from the most ridiculous things. There's a show on MTV, Ridiculousness. And it's the most horrible things happening to people. Every one of them, somebody crashes and falls off this and hurts, but they don't show the actual results afterwards. They just show you them hit the ground or whatever. But here's the thing, people. If you believe that, and that's your entertainment, how are you going to rise above it? How are you going to look at something and say, well, that's not good? Are you ready to turn around and say, that's not good for the human race? It's not good for me. Never mind your children. Very few parents, I'd say most, almost all, teach their children very little important information about spiritualism. The number one thing that should be taught to all children is protection. Not from the planet, not from the government, from the entities, the demons, and the darkness that's inside themselves. And the things that they bring into their own house, their mother, their father. Go out to a bar, they come home. They bring energy into the house. Do these children know how to protect themselves from that? No. And they're the victim of pain and suffering and all those other words, abuse. I don't think there's a child that doesn't go through abuse at some level in any family, rich or poor. And that doesn't make a person better. Sure, seeing pain and suffering, you don't want to do it to your kids. There's things you can learn. I'm a victim of one of those ideas as well. But am I going to go around, beat kids up and do this and that? I went through it all the bad things about it and stuff. I tried all the X-rated things and positive things and you name it. I call it that because it's like when you go into a club and they're doing everything possible, it's crazy. But you know, to learn what's right and wrong for you, not for everybody else. Most people give two hoots. If a person thinks they could get away with something, they'll do it over and over. How many times could you get away with something before you get caught? Maybe a whole lifetime. But guess what? People don't believe in karma, don't think they have to come back and pay it. But you do, people. Buddha was 100% right about karma. John Lennon was right about instant karma. The more spiritual you become, the more instant your karma becomes as well. When you don't know what you're doing and you create karma, so it takes time for it to build up and make itself known. But when you walk on a spiritual path and you kick somebody, it comes back to you right away. And John Lennon was 100% right. John Lennon was abducted by an alien, people, just so you know. Really was. I'm not going to get into it now, but he hated aliens. He admitted he saw a ship in New York City, but he didn't go into the details. But people, do you think the government cares about aliens? In what way? All they care about is getting weapons from them, which they do and did. But they also are killing them as well. People, whether you hear that from any UFO person speaking out there, They have no clue. Oh, the good aliens are coming, and all these people. Well, I was with the good aliens, and now we got Stephen Greer coming out saying he's building this big center for people to come to learn how to talk to aliens. What do you think they're going to say to you people? Get a gun, shoot people, get a machine gun, get a grenade, buy a new house. What do you think they can tell you? God's not real? They don't know God. Aliens are no more spiritual than we are. Being in a different dimension doesn't make them spiritual. There's 3 dimensions, not the idea that the government, the world, scientists put out first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth dimension. No, that's all part of the physical reality, people. You're not in the astral plane when you're in the 3rd dimension. You're still in this dimension. But the astral plane has 3 dimensions, and each one of them has 3 realms within each one of them. When you leave the astral plane, you get out of all that. You're no longer dealing with any of that. All right? Which is incredible. All I can tell you. You don't get to stay there until you leave this body. But you can get experiences of it. And you really should have that. Because once you do, you realize you're living in hell. Imagine no pain, no suffering. You won't be able to see killing, murder, rape, and all those words. You won't see it. You won't have to. And it's impossible for it to happen. Because guess what, people? There's no longer male and female. So to say God's male or female is ridiculous as well. But women's rights and programming, oh, God's a woman. No. We have angels that are women and angels that are men. Yes. But God, no. When you go past the 5th plane, like I said, the soul plane where soul dwells, guess what? There's no form of anything. And it's hard to describe any of that until you start getting closer to it. But imagine being with a light body, glowing blue or white, being able to do anything you want, anywhere, in any realm, level, and stuff. But what do you think you're going to be doing? And it's always working with light. If you're into darkness, you'll never get there. Lucifer's not a dark person, dark entity. All right? He's not creating all the karma that we do. 90% of the problems on planet Earth was us from being twisted and molded into a perverted thinking person. Sacrifice is ridiculous. Thinking that God wants you to sacrifice somebody. You think God accepts killing in any of the higher worlds? Of course not. It doesn't get there. And you stay here until you purge all the karma away from your soul from that. All right. If you have questions, please text me, email, or Skype me. But I'm going to get into a couple more things today. Like I said, I might be doing 1 or 2 more shows on this because I need to put it out there. People might not listen, don't care. They don't want the truth. They want to believe their path's the only path. If you look at the fallacies and all the wrong things in each path, it'll blow your mind. From the Muslims to the Jewish people, you name it. What they allow and what they do in the name of their own religion. I worked in a Jewish temple for a year. Horrible. I mean, the Muslim beliefs and all that. Read the Quran. Read it from start to finish. Read about Gabriel, an angel who taught Muhammad. What? Read what he taught him. And if you read that, you'll notice every other or every 3rd sentence is contradictory to the one before it. I mean, there's a word called talking in riddles, but this is talking ridiculous. You don't say talk to everybody, and the next sentence, don't talk to anybody. That's not a combination of things that you go through. All right? Tell everybody the truth, but don't tell anybody the secret truth. You know, the secret truth is the truth. But it needs to be out there. If people don't know what the truth is, they might not ever want it. The truth is when you find God and find truth, you don't have to stay here. People love it here. The things that Satan gives everybody keeps us here. I mean, I did it on and off, but, you know, the things you can do that are important. Learning how to leave your body, not remote viewing. That's something different. Astral projection is another thing, but allowing your body to stay still and dormant while soul leaves it. And then you can meet your guides, angels, and travel. And don't tell them where you need to go and what you need to do. We all have guides and angels, people, whether you want to accept that or not. They're willing to work with you if you listen. And I'm telling you this, you avoid them and don't listen to them, they'll leave for a while. They'll be there, but they're not going to be there every second because you're not going to listen to them anyway. I could give you so much information and truth about that. Will you listen? You know, you say, well, psychic abilities are incredible. No, they're not. They're destructive, and they will destroy the world if we use them more now. Caroline Corey claims she can levitate a piece of paper. She claims she can change people's DNA. We all can change DNA. It's nothing important, people. The medicine woman I studied with, she taught us a technique when we pray over our food and stuff. It changes the molecule structure of the food. So, you know, there's certain things we can do, but it's not playing God. But when you play and take people out and stuff, you're playing God. Right? Nobody has the right to interfere with another person unless they're invited into it. Like remote viewing. Going into somebody's house, going into the army field, battlefield, whatever. George Washington did it. He has pictures in the Jumeau Mansion, which was where the George Washington had his first headquarters in New York City. And they showed him over the battlefield, looking at where the army was, what they were doing, and everything else. He also met with angels. He put out a prophecy. Read it. George Washington's prophecy. Prophesied World War I, II, and III, maybe. But he was dealing with like 7 or 8 angels, and they were each telling him things. Read it. I don't worry about what other people are doing, because you can't change them. You can't change what they're doing. You can try all you want. You can't change your son to do something different. You know, somebody has 3 children. Oh, he's the good one. Oh, he's the brat. He's this. He's that. You know, we label us, and that label slowly becomes part of a person's reality as well. What you teach, what you tell your children affects them greatly. What you program them with. I can go into stories, but that's not where I want to go. Do you know God? No, you don't. Do you want to know God? Do you want to understand it at least? Do you want to understand what happens with soul when it really leaves? Oh, you don't go to heaven and meet your family and hang out there? Why? You're hanging out here with them, and then they die. Well, you're going to go there and live with them forever, sitting at a table talking about what? Stars? The weather? What are you going to talk about? What do you think you would talk about? You're supposed to have no physical body, you have an astral body now. Much better than a physical body, but not better than the higher bodies. The mental body, etheric body, and all that. But where are you going? What do you want to do? And what do you want to believe in? I say the only thing you need to do is find the truth. Follow the truth. Not the lies, not the stories. How do you tell? 99% of the time it's a lie, no matter what they say. No aliens here are going to come here and help us become spiritual. None. Then you got Ramtha, who came out, channeling J.J. Knight, channeling Ramtha. Then we have another person coming out now. He claims he's channeling a being and makes all these statements and stuff. He's been doing it for 25 years already. And nothing happened, people. James Dean, Colonel Bob, no, Bob, I can't think of his name, sorry. But he, the doomsday idea, he does a lecture on that, workshop on it, tells you how to remote view to see where you need to be when this destruction comes. There will be no place for you to hide when your soul is being called to leave. Period. Hide under a rock, hide in the ocean, hide on the ground. It will get you when your time is due. Nobody can change that. Jesus could have. Jesus isn't here. The world as people killed him. Why? They didn't want the truth. Even when Jesus was killed, his own followers helped kill him, but they also didn't want to do anything after he died. And what's not written, which is more important in the rest of the Bible, is Mary Magdalene. Not any other story. Jesus didn't finish his teachings. Mary Magdalene had to finish teaching his disciples. So why isn't that in the Bible? Because they don't want to respect women, never did. Right there should tell you something's wrong. Religions now, the Pope, it was like women weren't allowed to be this, women weren't allowed to do that. In history, all of history, women were never beings of love. They might have felt it and had it, but they weren't recognized as a loving relationship between them and their husband. They were slaves to their husbands, always. Many still are. People, I do this not because I feel like I want to just play or make money or any of those words. No. The truth needs to be put out there. And I believe what was said in the Emerald Tablets. The truth will destroy all the lies in the end. The end of what? The end of your life, the end of the world, the end of the universe. What? What end? All right? Things you need to understand. So there's multiple universes out there, and if we went to them, what do you think we'd do there? Anything better than what we're doing here? Science tries to make things solid in some weird, perverted, twisted way. But when they say a vitamin, a protein, mineral food is good for you today, next year they'll say, oh no, it's dangerous. And the year after, oh no, it's really good for you. And, we all keep dying. We all keep getting sick. We keep getting poisoned more and more every single day. And what are you doing about it? Or there's nothing you can do. You could always do something. Even a meditation to heal and clear your food that you eat. I'm 70. I didn't even want to live past 40, then 50, then 60. But I had 5 death experiences. The last one, I was actually allowed to stay there. In that moment, I said, no, I need to do one more book. And that's when I wrote my book that I put out 2 years ago, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. I'm just finishing a new book for women only. All right. And I need to get it edited. But women need to hear what I'm going to put out there. They need to escape the lies and the programs and everything else that's going on this planet, still against women at every level. People, do you want the truth? What do you want to know? Nobody could even ask a question. Why is that? If you want to know something that you don't know, don't you ask a question? What is it? Well, you think you know everything. Well, God's really watching over me. Really? God talks to you. Conversation with God. I challenge him 10 times to come on my show. I'll come on his. I'll do anything to debate him. But these people that talk, just talk. They don't know God. They can't go against a debate on it. Period. Aliens can't abduct me. I saved my brother from being abducted when I was 6 years old. People, and I didn't have to read books. I didn't have to do anything. I just knew it. When you become aware of lifetimes that you had, and everything else you experienced, you become realizing that, why am I here? What am I doing? What am I going to do to make this world better? Nothing. This is hell. It's here for a reason. If everything was beautiful here, so we'd never want to leave it, would it? If all you had to do was have sex, eat, have sex, play football, have sex, eat, how many people would care about anything else? When we put our attention on what we think we have, it stops us from looking any further for the truth. Imagine not getting sick. Imagine not feeling pain anymore. I'm in pain almost every day, on and off all night, all day, and then sometimes half of the night. Something's wrong with my nerves, and my hands go numb completely. And it feels like I got them in fire when I wake up in bed, and I can't stay there because I can't deal with the pain laying down. I could run my hands in the boiling water and it feels good. And that's my treatment right now. I'm waiting for the doctor to decide. But Hawaii, the big island, has very few good doctors on it. I'm already told that if I really need to go for any kind of treatment, I'm going to have to go to the Honolulu. Honolulu has the big doctors because they all get big money there. There's very little money here, and they don't want to work for nothing. I'm not going to go into that, but it's the problems we are creating. Have nothing to do with God. Bombing, wars, killing, murder, stealing. God's not responsible for any of that. But if God really cared about it here on this planet, did you watch the movie Lucifer? Watch it. It's a good series. It's twisted and everything, but it's just an idea. Lucifer wants to take a vacation from dealing with all the bad people. But, and then he wants to fall in love. See, love was what we've been programmed to believe is the most important thing. And sadly, it's still not. We say it is. Out of 10 marriages, 80% of them will get a divorce, separated within 10, 20 years. Many get divorced in 2 or 3 years. Look at the famous people. Money corrupts everybody. Now, I have to say this every show I do. Jesus said it 3 times in the Bible alone. He said it when in the time frame, but he said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. And that's a reason. There's a reason for it. And it's simple. If you can't figure it out, you got a problem. Rich people can't. They don't want to figure it out. They'd have to give up their money, which they'll never do. There's one person, I'm still trying to find him. He's making millions and millions of dollars every week. And he says it's a simple system, but he gives it away everywhere. He'll see somebody on the street, give him hundreds of dollars. If somebody has a business, he'll give him thousands of dollars. He's an incredible person with giving it away. But there might be some alternative reason why he's doing that and stuff. So I can't say he's a spiritual person just because he gives away money. Because he's still a multimillionaire. He'll probably be one of the richest people in the next 10 years or 5 years. So, what are we looking for on this planet? Nothing important. You can't find anything important on this planet. Oh, I found a woman and a husband, and we have 5 children, and it's beautiful. They're all going to die. You're going to die. You're not going to be able to take them with you. They're not going to wait for you. And all those things. What do you think is going to happen to them? What do you think is going to happen to your wife or husband? Are they going to get remarried and have more kids and forget all about you? And what do you think happens? Well, it's the same after reincarnation. You have a family, you die, you go into the astral plane for 10 years, come back, have a new wife, a new husband. Start the same thing over. You forgot about your last wife already. I'm going to tell you something. I never talked about this, but I'm going to tell how different things change when you're an aware being. I was 12 years old, and I was having a dream. I thought it was a dream. How do you know when you're that age what's going on? But I was with a Japanese woman who was my wife. Remember, I never saw a woman naked at that time frame. Seriously. And it was like I was with this woman, made love and all that, and I woke up completely soaked and everything else, and I had no clue what it meant at all. And it was maybe another year. I actually found a Playboy magazine, and I saw a naked body for the first time, for real. And then, like, little by little about sex and all those other words. Well, was I making it up? No. There was no way to make it up from nowhere. It was a past life. I was married to a Japanese woman. All right? When you start experiencing your past lives in detail, I was at Mary Magdalene. I was a female in that lifetime. It's my second most important lifetime out of all the hundreds I had. The first one that I had that was important was when I was alive in Atlantis. Second one was when I was alive with Jesus, and the third one is now. All the rest I played. I was a priest, a minister, a rabbi. I did a lot of those things, but I wasn't a killer, murderer, rapist. Karma can take you and keep you here for a long period of time. Killing's not a good thing. Murder and all those words. It's karma in hell. And you stay here. It's not, if you like it here, do all the things you want and stay here. You don't have to leave. But being able to remember what you did in your past life. Well, I killed 10 people in my last life. Or I know 2 people. One's super famous, said he killed 44 people for the government. Another person died 2 years ago, killed 137 people for the government. What kind of karma do you think they have? One of them that's alive is doing everything he can to start working off his karma. He says, I know I'll reincarnate over and over. He said he was a Luciferian in the 1700s, and he knew some of his past and things like that. But he said he's working on his karma, and he's doing more for certain, I'm not going to say, I don't want to give it away completely, but he's doing a lot for certain people, incredible work and all that. But he knows what he did. And he accepts his karma for doing it. When you don't accept the karma, you don't know what it is. You just think life sucks, and you don't know why. Oh, I just this, I just did that. Well, there's instant karma, meaning karma you create today and now, and there's karma you already created. Plus, you're born into a world that's full of karma. It has its own karma, earthquakes and volcanoes and all that. Now, it's spitting it out, and then it has to jive with your karma as well when you're born. You're usually born into a family that you're just right to belong to. A poor person doesn't get born into a rich family. A rich person doesn't get born into a poor person. But I always believe that rich people get better places when they go, which isn't true. Multi-millionaire could come back and be starving and hungry in Africa or some other country and understand something totally different that he didn't understand in this lifetime. Well, we don't have to learn everything. We don't have to learn nothing. We just have to be ourselves as soul. Soul talks. If you listen to yourself, you can hear it. How many people do that? All right. I could give you a simple technique. What time is it? 3:07. Here's a simple technique, people. I always give it during my courses, but usually not right away. Do you want to find out how to listen to yourself? All right. Soul talks to you, and so is your mind, filled with ego. You're walking down the street, and you come into the corner, and there's a green light with a yellow light changing. One thing, the first says, hey, hurry up and run across the street. Second one says, no, just stand there and wait for the next light. All right. Now, one will come from soul, and one will come from mind. Usually they come the same place, same time, meaning it's always the first one that's one, and it's always the second one that's one. It could be either or for you, but you have to figure out which one's the one you're supposed to listen to. It will save your life. It will save a lot of things in your life. In critical moments. Well, I just felt that, and I'm not going to do it. Bang. I just saw it, and then you do it. All right. There's the one you need to listen to. Here, the technique is for 1 week straight, or 2 weeks, depending how long it takes you to realize it. Listen to the first thing that comes to your mind and do it. Go out and get a job. Go out and do it. Go mow the lawn. Do it. Every first thing you do it for 2 weeks. Or 1 week, either one. You'll know the difference right away. And then the second week or the third week, do the opposite. Well, run out and get this. No, I'm going to wait. No, well, you should be doing this. Do that. Do the second thing. You'll find out which one's the right one and which one's the wrong one. And that's the way soul talks to us, because the mind is interfering. We're in this body, and it's not helping us. It's not helping us become spiritual. You could stay in meditation for days, years, or whatever. It's not going to answer the questions if you're not looking in the right place to find them. People, I've been doing shows for a long time, 15 years. I used to do it with TJ Morris, but we had problems always with time and everything else. I did a show with Kerry Cassidy for almost a year. I did another one for about a year and a half, but I learned one thing: most people don't want the truth. The better the story is, the more exciting it is, the more violence it is, the better it is. Just watch TV. Look at entertainment. Comedians have to use the F word, what, 100 times? I got it. You said the F word. I don't have to have a sentence. F, 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 hi. F, 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 bye. Hello, hello. F, 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 bye. I mean, what kind of comedian is that? And this is horrible for me. When I was little, my brother used to go out and buy Bill Cosby's album. He was putting them out every couple months. And the one album was about having his tonsils taken out. And the song was Ice Cream. We're going to get ice cream. And I remember I had to go to the hospital with my brother, and we're having our tonsils taken out. And that's my UFO story, how it started. But I'm not going to get into it. But people, we believe in people. But now, when I look back and say I respected him, and he was my everything, and he was a rapist. 50 people. Even if he raped 2 of them, he's still a rapist. Even if he didn't rape all 50. But women don't like to say they were raped. You don't tell your boyfriend you were raped and things like that. Not too many men can deal with problems and stuff right off the bat. People, this is about truth. If you have questions, please email me. Come on the show, talk to me, call me up on Skype, Hawksblood11. All right. And then if we have something to talk about, I'll bring you on. Have questions, whatever. People, it's time to grow, not shrink and shrivel up and become nothing in this world. But we have serious things going on. UN Agenda 21-30. Find it, pull it up, read what it is. We're already in stage 4. In 8 years, there's supposed to be one world order. And it's getting close to happen. Stage where we're at is depopulation, then complete control. And that's where AI comes in. Do you follow what's happening? Do you care? Oh, no, I don't care. Well, it's not going to happen in my life. It's going to happen in your lifetime. I promise you'll see an alien on this planet, unless you're really old like me. You'll probably see an alien walking around on the planet and things happening. All right? But here's the thing, people. Are you ready? Well, we're not ready to see aliens. We're always ready. But we don't want to hear it. We like our program little retarded, sorry, wrong word, bad ideas that we like. All right? Well, people, I'm going to end it there for today. Do the exercise. Find out who's talking, which one you should listen to. Usually, I'll say this. Usually it's the first one that's soul, and then mine says, no, don't do it. Do this. Don't do it. But see, in a split second, you only have 2 seconds to make a decision. And if one says, jam on the brakes, and then one says, no, just keep going and pull up, you're already going to have a problem. It could save your life. It could save a lot of things, people. But that's starting to understand that soul is there. You really are aware. And you're talking to yourself. Not like this high, where you become your higher self. You are that. Just do you know what's right and wrong? Do you know what's important? No. How many people think money's important? 99% of the people. How many religious people think church is important? 80% of them. I mean, all these words, you can give percentages and they're really high. But they're all wrong. Well, no, that's not how the aliens look. I can guarantee, well, there's one race that looks kind of like we do. More like the way the Star Trek people draw them and stuff like that. But 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and things like that, yes. Hair-wise and everything else is different. Skull structure and all that. But there's a lot worse, believe me. The grays are pretty well recognized. You could see a gray, you know what a gray looks like. A reptilian, I don't think too many people really know what a reptilian looks like. I don't think too many people know what a Nordic looks like. Or a What's the other one? The mantis. Do you know what a mantis? You know what a praying mantis looks like? Just enlarge it. And they look very much the same, believe it or not. All right, people. We'll talk next time. I don't know how many days between now and then. But Tuesday, I do a show. Tomorrow's UFO Day. I have Tina Bird from England. She's been abducted half of her life. She's very sickly, and we go into the reasons why on the show. Please tune in. Just friend me on YouTube, and you'll get the links whenever we do a show. Peace, calling from Hawaii to the rest of the world. Listen, find the truth. It'll save your soul.